There is a difference between having value and feeling like you have value.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right? So do you have value or do you feel like you lack value?
I know logically that I have value, but I don't feel it.
Hey, man.
Hey. Oh. Dude,
You could say whatever you want, man.
Okay, so I ran back because Dr. K wanted to do Misgift today after me, which I thought was going to be amazing. I wanted to watch too. So we rescheduled. We rescheduled a little bit, so I ran back, but now Misgift canceled. Right? Or moved it.
I guess so. I don't know what happened. I just assumed. But thank you very much for running back. So Reckful, you wanted to try to help me answer this question?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay, so we've got a question here, which is, let me just switch real quick. Let's start with a quick question, and then we'll switch over to Reckful. So how do I know if I should seek therapy for a specific problem? I just turned 24 and I haven't had a girlfriend. I've been with girls, but I just can't seem to be able to build a relationship. What do you think, Reckful?
I got this. Okay, so should I really critically think on that answer or just spit out what's coming in my
Just
mind?
spit out, dude.
Okay, so the nice thing about therapy is you'll have all these thoughts going through your head back and forth of like, am I doing the right thing here? Am I doing the right thing here? Well, maybe this is bad. Maybe that's bad. But then you'll just say all your thoughts, and then the therapist will kind of lead you in a healthy direction. Maybe give you a few options still, but just the healthier ones, so you could cut out the ones that aren't healthy. So it's like you're playing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and there's A, B, C, D. I just thought of this analogy, and then you do the 50-50 thing. The therapist gives you the 50-50 thing instead of you picking from 4 options. And then it makes your whole life seem a lot simpler.
So it sounds like you think this person should go to therapy for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. So first of all, Reckful, beautiful analogy there. So I think that people need to understand that you don't have to have like a particular problem to go to therapy, because part of what therapy is about is, like Reckful said, helping you narrow down like what the issues are. Right? So if you're 24 and you don't have a girlfriend, is it because you just have had bad luck, or because you don't leave the house, or because you're like, so it sounds like you've been with girls and so you date, but you may have some other kinds of psychological issues kind of going on that prevent you from getting into a relationship. And also, like, it could just be that you just haven't met someone that you think is worth having a relationship with. Right. So I think going to therapy is like a great idea if there's some place in your life where you feel stuck and you're not quite sure why or how to move forward. I think therapy is a great option. So that's what I'll say. So should we get started, Reckful?
Yeah, I mean, I usually would fix the settings a little more. I guess it's fine. All right, yeah, we're good. I didn't make my bed or anything. I have a mattress on the floor. No one gives a shit, dude. All right, let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go. I like so Dr. K and I had an off stream talk 2 days ago, and I was sober. I say I was sober because I take something that I consider a medication for depression most days.
Sure.
But I was sober when we talked, and I want you to describe it. What was your experience? Because your experience will be clearer than mine.
Of the conversation?
Yeah.
So how much context do we want to share about the conversation? Because I know there are some things in the conversation.
I don't care about anything in there is fine for me to share. So it's all up to you.
Well, at one point we talked about something where I have to sign an NDA, right? So we shouldn't talk about that.
Oh, okay. Just that. Yeah.
Right. So, okay.
But I didn't go in depth, so it's fine.
Okay. So I wanted to just, so what was my impression of the conversation?
You can actually say anything you want to say about anything in the conversation, because I didn't talk about the part with the NDA because you haven't had you sign it yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So whatever you want to say.
But what was your question?
Fuck, I forgot at this point. Okay, I want to update the viewers on what happened off stream because they missed one therapy session that isn't therapy.
It's not therapy, right? So
yeah,
that's actually what we talked about, right? So I think my impression was we were talking about clarifying what our relationship is, and whether this is therapy or this isn't therapy, and what our options are in terms of how to form a relationship. And I think that, the last time we talked on stream, we had a conversation about abandonment. And then I made a very bold claim because I got emotional as well. And I felt like I wanted to be there for you so that you no longer felt this way. And I
Yeah,
think
I really
sometimes what
appreciate that.
happens amongst people is that they have different kinds of complexes, and I have them too. And one of the things that happens with me is when I see someone hurting, I want to make them better. And sometimes I will, in that moment, say whatever I think I can to make them feel better, but sometimes that's irresponsible. And I'm not, I mean, I think in a sense it was irresponsible, but I think from our perspective, we're trying to understand, like, what is this for you? What is this for me? What are we doing on Twitch? This is like kind of a new thing. And I think a common perception is that if you're talking about feelings with someone, then that is therapy. But I think we can kind of say, like, so Reckful also shared with me that he had a great conversation for several hours with Pokimane. Am I saying that right now?
Hmm.
Right, where he also talked about feelings and things like that. But I don't think that I don't think that Pokimane is your therapist. I don't think I'm your therapist. I think you can talk to another human being about feelings and you can explore things that are authentic and important to yourself, and that doesn't necessarily make you a therapist. And so we were also talking about the other options in terms of, like, what are we? Are we like colleagues, like that stream on Twitch together? We'd sort of talked a little bit about, things like viewership and stuff like that. I raised some concerns about favoritism. So I want to try to treat people equally. And I just wanted to kind of acknowledge that if one person is coming on stream over and over again, are we doing a disservice to other people?
Which I think you are. So I think I shouldn't come on stream over and over again with you every week.
Yeah. So
I
I think,
realize.
and so I think that too, for me, feels like it's closer to a doctor-patient relationship, which I think becomes really complicated if you're kind of working with someone week after week, And I think the other thing that we expressed is that, like, so I want to be Reckful's friend, right? So, but if I'm your friend, then can I be your doctor? Do I want to be your doctor? Do I want to be your friend? And I think the reason that this kind of relates to Reckful is because I think I think he's a very warm, open, and caring person, and also tangles up his relationships with people. And it's something that I actually do too. So I tend to tangle up relationships with people. I tend to not see things in terms of black and white. And that's the reason I started.
While I clean stuff.
Sure. That's part of the reason I started streaming anyway, because, like, no one talks about feeling, like, no therapist or psychiatrist has come live on stream to, like, talk to people about mental health or their feelings. Or maybe it does happen and I just haven't heard of it. But I think that's a little bit unorthodox. And so we basically had a conversation about, like, what are the bounds of our relationship? What's acceptable? What isn't acceptable? I don't think I mentioned this to him explicitly, but this was kind of running in my mind. So people forwarded me this clip where Reckful said that he would pay $1 million to see me do psilocybin. And we didn't talk about that, Reckful, right?
Saw that. Yeah, I didn't know you saw that.
Yeah. And so I think that's a good example of, like, what does that mean? And, like, what's going on there? So, like, what are you looking for? And, like, so our relationship could get real muddy real fast, right? So when people start, and it's not the first time this has happened where people will offer me vast sums of money for X, Y, or Z. And that just kind of makes me concerned because, like, what are we really doing? So we just had a conversation that was, since in the spirit of relationships and, a couple weeks from Valentine's Day, we had a DTR conversation. You guys know what that is? Isn't it a DTR?
What's a DTR? I don't even know what that is. What's a DTR?
DTF
God damn it,
is
tell us.
define the relationship,
Oh, okay.
right? And so I think it's important, right? Because, like, people, like, I want to be careful about what we're doing on stream. I want to be, we're here to help people, but I also don't want to send the wrong message, and I also don't want to leave people hanging. And I think at times, I'll let Reckful share sort of what he remembered about it, but I think at times the conversation did get pretty emotional, and but that's for him to share.
Yes, I was crying.
I said my piece.
He was saying that he wanted to be there for me for the next 2 years, and that but the problem is that he kind of said it in a flurry of emotion. I don't know if flurry is a good word. While streaming, he was getting emotional himself. He wanted to be there for me, so he said it, but he hadn't actually thought it through and what that entails, because he is not a licensed therapist in Texas, and just a lot of things. You know, because you'd have to live in Texas to be my therapist in Texas. Is that how it works?
Yeah, so we also did talk about, whether you want me to be your actual therapist and what that would entail. And the other
Yeah.
thing is that bit of research, which is important to remember, is the research on people on BPD. It's 2 years of someone who's actually a romantic partner. So it's unclear whether a friend.
So
can
yeah,
do
I
that
need to
for
get
you.
in a relationship with a girl for 2 years and have it actually work out, and that might cure my BPD. With you're
Yeah,
saying I
and
have
so
BPD.
this is what we also kind of talked about. I don't know if you remember, but like it's not about curing and the relationship working out. It's about
I
developing
have
the
trouble
capacity.
not thinking in these terms. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so exactly. So that's what we need to change, right? So you think about things in terms of working out or not working out. I think we had talked about, so what's going to happen as you enter relationships is that there are going to be stressful parts and not stressful parts. And if there is a stressful part where your some scar of abandonment gets triggered, then you may act in a different kind of way. And we can talk about that. Like, I'm curious about, your prior relationships and things like that. And as that some scar activates, it causes you to do things that you normally wouldn't do. And those are kind of driven by that fear of
Samscar is the
abandonment.
unprocessed trauma.
Unprocessed trauma. Great way to put it. Right? So some of the trauma of losing your brother, one brother and then another brother, like you're terrified that like you'll lose someone else. And so you try to,
Clarification: my other brother's still alive. He just means he's
yeah,
not around. Yeah.
yeah. And so I think what we need to help you do is like use meditation or psilocybin or however you want to, but to gain perspective on those moments and essentially ride out those emotions so that you can like not do something that negatively impacts the relationship. So we need to
Now
help
my
you.
mind is stuck on certain things right now.
Yeah. Tell me.
So I'm stuck on. I like to get these things solved, I guess. I don't like to be in the tension so much.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so I'm in the tension of, is he gonna be my therapist or are we gonna be friends? Because he said if he's my therapist, we can never travel together anywhere. Like it changes how it is. So I was thinking it'd be cool. It'd be cool to go to Japan with Dr. K. That sounds nice. Yeah, that'd feel nice.
Yeah.
Just see how he experiences things and have fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
So
just want
I
a
think
friend.
it's good.
Actually, I really want a friend, but then I'm thinking longer term. I'll have friends. So what I need is a therapist, maybe.
Yeah. So I think rather than resolve that issue, Reckful, I think the important thing is that you said something really, really beautiful, right? Which is that you do not like the tension.
It's a big problem in my life. Yeah, I
That's
don't like
what.
the tension. Every time I'm around a girl, I like to just have it resolved right away. That okay, this is not going to be anything romantic for sure, or it might. Like I
So
just want to get it out of the way.
let's. Is it okay if we talk about that?
Yeah, that's a big problem for me in my life
Okay.
for sure.
So why do you need to get it resolved right away? Let's
Because I
think
don't like
about
to be
that.
in the tension. Well, okay, let me.
What don't you like about being in the tension?
I don't know. I have to figure it out. I have to
No, no,
figure
I
it
mean,
out.
no, we're talking
I
about
want
it.
you
We're
to tell
talking about
me.
it.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
I'll tell. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
So absolutely, right? So let's think about this because like here's the thing.
Okay.
If the girl decides to date you, how can
The chat
how
thinks it's really funny that I wanted you to figure it. Yeah, I think they're probably laughing. Okay.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I mean I have an answer for you, but I'm going to try to get you
sure.
there on your own.
Yeah, you want to get me there, yeah.
Yeah. So if you are so how comfortable are you if she says yes?
Dude, there's some problems. Hold on. I'm a boomer. How the fuck do you scroll up in Twitch chat now? They changed something. I can't scroll up. It just keeps scrolling down. What is this? And also, someone said my mic is too loud. Press control. Now, is my mic too loud? Because this is important to get fixed right away. And someone said I'm cutting him off too much. Okay. Oh,
You're cutting me
it's
off
not
too
too loud.
much.
Yeah, I don't think I'm cutting you off too much. Okay, I need to stop reading it. Okay, so I'll just close it.
Yeah.
Everything's working.
Close Twitch chat.
Close the chat. Okay, I'm good. Hello.
Okay. So Reckful, tell me how comfortable are you if she says yes?
Very comfortable. Yeah. I was really thinking it through.
How comfortable are you if she says no?
Also comfortable, actually.
There we go. Right? So this is important to understand. You'd think, and the word that I'm using is important, right? So there's comfort. So why are you comfortable with her saying no?
Because then I don't have to think about it anymore. It's not what I want to happen. It's not my desired result. But at least my mind isn't in the tension. I'm just like, oh, okay.
So let's be clear.
I can write it off as something.
Yeah, you can write it off, but she's rejecting you, right?
Yeah.
And you're somehow okay with rejection.
Yes.
What? Like, it's not your desired result. I completely agree. How are you okay
with it? Because it's fucking better than sitting there and wondering all the time.
That is a given, right? So we're saying that the tension is the problem. But
yes.
Why is outright rejection better than being left wondering? Which I think a lot of people can relate to this. But let's just think about
that. Logically, it's worse.
Yes.
Logically, it's worse because now I have no chance.
Exactly. That's what one would think.
Chance is good.
But
it's
actually,
really funny. Actually, I love this conversation. Let's think about it. Okay.
Yes, let's absolutely think about it. There's no hope if she leaves. If she says no, right? At least like in the tension, in theory, there's hope. And one would think that hope is better than rejection. That's what one would think.
I know why.
Let's hear it.
Okay, because then you're going through your days and little events happen, like a certain text or like an emote or like stupid things, or just like a person you see them if it's a real life thing. And then you wonder, like, did this mean something? Did that mean something? And it clogs up all this mental effort for you to be wondering all the time. And then for it to just be a no actually makes your life easier in all those ways because you can think about other things.
I completely agree that is
God
the
damn
effect.
I'm still not there. Fuck.
No,
okay,
no. You're there. You're there. So that's what's bad.
There.
You're defining what's bad about being in the tension and how you feel relief when you get rejected. So I'm not disagreeing. You're completely right. I think you're just missing one thing. And the question is, why in particular, Reckful, why are you afraid of hope and okay with rejection? Right? Because that's another way to define this.
That sounds fucked up.
It does.
That's me.
Yes.
Fuck.
What do you think?
Okay, I'm afraid of hope, and I'm okay with
that's
rejection.
Because the tension. So sure, there's like a mental burden of you wondering, right?
I'm afraid of hope, but okay with rejection. I'm afraid of hope and okay with rejection.
Comfortable with rejection.
Comfortable. I like okay. Okay is a nice word. I'm afraid of hope.
Why do you prefer certain failure to uncertain success? That's another way to think about it, right?
Close my eyes and think about it. Let's see. Why do I prefer certain failure? Now, should I go back in my life really far, many years, or should I just think recently?
Wherever you want to go,
Whatever
buddy.
the fuck I want to do. All right. Why do I prefer certain failure to uncertain success? Oh, man, it's kind of like when I just stopped streaming on Twitch for long periods of time.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, when I was like, just wanted to be a streamer as my main career. But the whole tension of the numbers going up and down and not like on viewer counts and not knowing, it was too much. So I'd rather just run away and close it all, not stream at all. So I prefer
Very good.
Yeah, okay, I did that. So you're right. Well, I know you're right, but I don't know why.
Yeah.
I really like the sentence though. I prefer. I prefer. Why am I afraid of hope, but okay with rejection? I'm gonna tweet that. Let's see if anybody knows.
Okay.
Can I tweet it?
Sure.
This is not helpful at all. I want to see what people say.
Yeah, that's fine. I think
Why
it's fine.
am I afraid of hope, but okay with rejection?
So another way to think about it.
That's how you worded it, right? Why am I afraid of hope, but okay with rejection?
Yeah. Sure. So another way to think about it.
I tweeted it. Everyone answer.
Okay. So another question is why are you? So why are you okay with rejection, but not okay? Why are you comfortable with rejection, but uncomfortable with conditional love? Right? So like unclear love. That's the other way to think about it.
Okay, I'm closing this. I'm getting distracted. Okay. Say it again.
Why are you okay with rejection,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yes, I am okay with it.
not okay with conditional love?
I'm not okay with conditional love.
Right? So like possible love.
Is that what conditional love means?
No, it doesn't mean that.
Can you
That's
define
not
conditional love for us?
So like let's say like possible. Like so let me put it this way. The uncertainty possibly getting rejected for you is worse than actually getting rejected.
I can see that this is a conversation you've had with people a lot of times, and it's not super stimulating for you, and that's distracting me. So I'm closing my eyes.
No, sorry, I've just got a call and I need to make sure it's not an emergency.
Okay, so maybe I just assumed a lot of things.
Yeah.
My thought process is bad. But that
We'll
was
talk
where
about
it
that
went.
in a second too.
Fuck. Got a lot of problems.
Okay, so let me ask you another question, okay?
Yeah.
How much XP do you have? What if we had to say you have different skill levels, right? Like you've gained XP at like being in a relationship, being rejected, and being in the tension. How much XP do you have in each of those environments?
Oh, I have a lot of experience being in a relationship.
Very good.
I've experience being single.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, more experience being in a relationship though.
Okay.
And then very little in the tension. Yep.
Right.
So I'm low level. I'm bronze at being into tension. Okay, if we're using for some reason I like using the League of Legends things. The bronze, silver, gold, you know,
Sure.
plat, diamond. They had it in StarCraft too.
Yeah.
Also. StarCraft also. Okay, I'm bronze at being in attention. I might be like gold or high silver at being in a relationship. I'm not very good. And I'm not that good at being single either. I'm not really good at any of these things. Okay, so but I'm the
we're
worst
not
at being
just-
in attention for sure.
No. So, but being
Yeah,
single
you're
is
right.
not what we're talking about. We're talking about rejection. That's not the same as being single, right?
I'm okay with rejection. Yeah, I'm chilling.
Yes, because you have lost
I've dealt
people
with that a
before,
lot.
Reckful.
Huh?
Absolutely, right? Because you have
Yeah.
lost people before, and you have
Yeah.
survived.
Yeah, I'm fine. I think.
So,
I'm not really
because
fine.
I mean, so think about that for a
Come on.
second. You've gotten used to it, right? Like you've gotten used to people leaving,
Yeah.
and you can handle
Yeah.
that.
Fuck. Okay. Yeah. You're right.
Does that make sense? So the certain rejection is an area that you actually have a lot of experience in.
That's sad.
It is. It's very sad. Right?
I'm gonna put you in the headphones.
Okay.
I want to hear you closer.
Oh,
I hate when
okay.
it gets tangled over here. Okay. What is this? I'm realizing that it's silly for me to untangle this at this moment, but I'm doing it anyway. Okay, I'm done. Now, hello?
Yeah. So like if you think about it, your XP with rejection and losing people is actually like you're super high level there. Right? So it hurts, there's no question that it hurts, but your capability to deal with it is good.
Actually, I'm fucking diamond at getting rejected.
Absolutely.
Thanks, bro. Yeah,
It's sad, but like you started learning that at a very young age. Right? You started learning rejection and loss when you were super young.
Uh-huh.
And then each time it happens, you level up a little bit. And so you become more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
What's terrifying is like you don't know if people are going to stay or leave. Like you can deal with either camp. You can be in a relationship or you can be rejected from a relationship. You can have someone say, I never want to see you again, and it's painful, but you survive because you know how to do that because you're actually really resilient. And you have like like winning and losing is doable. It's the hope, right? Because this is like, you can only like let yourself hope for relationships so many times, and like each time someone ends their relationship with you, it hurts like more and more and more, and it gets harder and harder and harder to like try to love again.
You're right.
Right? So it's like you just need to know, because like the possibility that they're going to say yes is just so terrifying. Because the flip side of uncertain acceptance is also uncertain rejection. So the possibility of rejection is worse than rejection itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's the not knowing.
Yes.
Right? And so even now, like
a girl told me really recently that, or she was telling another girl, and she told me that she did this, that I'm really weird in that tension spot. She didn't use the word tension, but in like that I want to just know right away that it's not a relationship thing. She was telling another girl that I'm weird like that, and the other people are comfortable just being, hey, maybe this will be and maybe this won't.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
I can't do that.
That's what we have
right
to
now.
teach you how to do.
Yeah, I want to be able to do it.
Okay. So I'm tempted to actually ask you to meditate, because I wonder if,
let's do it.
In your state of mind, this will maybe something you can appreciate. Have we talked about the moment where inhalation becomes exhalation before? You seen this? Have I talked to you about this?
The moment when inhalation
becomes
I don't even
exhalation.
know inhalation. Wait.
So
I'm having one of those. There's this weird moment. You know when you're looking at a word for a long time and it starts to look like it isn't a word. Have you had that happen before? Never had it happen in your life?
Where I look at a word for a long time and
you stare at a word for a long time and you're like, wait, is this actually a word? Is this how you spell this word? You've never had it happen.
I don't.
I can't believe you've never had that happen.
I mean, maybe I have. I've had that experience with things besides words.
Okay.
But just maybe not with a word.
Okay.
Because I don't know if I've just stared
inhalation,
at a word.
Inhale, exhale, inhalation, exhalation.
So you have inhalation and you have exhalation, right? So close your eyes, sit up straight.
Yeah.
And find the moment where inhalation becomes exhalation.
I'm sitting up straight and I'm finding the moment when inhalation becomes exhalation. Is this straight? This is not that straight. Is this straight enough for you?
Your spine should be straight. You can be leaning back. That's okay. But your spine should be straight.
That is straight, I think.
Yeah, that's the most important.
Okay. So
you guys can try this at home too.
So we're going, and then there's this moment here, the parabola.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we're finding.
Find the moment. So in the parabola, there is a smaller parabola, right? Because at the beginning of the parabola, it's inhalation. At the end of the yeah. So zoom in and find the moment.
Okay, got it. I found it. What do you want me to do now?
So you found it. So are you finding a point or is it a parabola?
It's a parabola, I think.
So then how can you find the moment if it's a parabola? Because a parabola describes a range.
I found the range.
Find the moment, because at one point it's inhalation, at one point it's exhalation, right? So there must be a transition.
We must step back here and discuss this. Finding a range to me is identical to finding a moment, because we can keep dividing moments into infinitesimal amounts of time forever. There's no, even if you find a moment, it's not. I mean, it could be divided further, right? So we're just looking at it as a range.
How comfortable are you with it being a range and not a moment?
Super comfortable.
Super comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because a moment is the same thing. A moment is a range also.
A moment is a range.
Yes, sure, a moment is a range.
Okay. So
I mean, logically, yeah.
No, I guess forget about logically. Just I'm asking about the conviction of your belief. I'm not trying to poke holes in your argument.
Yeah, a moment is a range.
Between her saying yes and her saying no is what?
Between her saying yes and her saying no is tension.
And what is that tension?
A range.
Between inhalation and exhalation, there is what?
A
And
range.
you are looking for, you cannot sit in that range. So you must practice sitting in the range because I know you're capable of it.
I see, but it's not exactly my issue. My issue is I know this range exists, and I'm comfortable knowing it's a range and don't have to know any further. So with most people, maybe that would be the issue, but that's not mine.
What's your issue? Why are you uncomfortable with the uncertainty?
I don't know. We're still trying to figure it out, right?
So I think it's because you can be comfortable with a range when it comes to the breath, but you are not comfortable with a range. That's what the very definition of the uncertainty is. You want it to be a moment.
A moment. I don't like the word there, but
Okay.
I want it to be. God, wait, my camera got so bright. Why does it auto adjusting like that much? That's not good. I'll just be dark. I want it to be. I want to know I'm accepted.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
It's simpler than what. Yeah, I just want to know.
So
but why am I okay with getting rejected then?
Because you just want to know. It's not about being accepted or rejected. You just want to know. Because in this instance, you are not uncomfortable with the range, right? You're the very definition. If you say, I just want to know, you want to be squarely in inhalation or squarely in exhalation. You're fine with either side of the middle of the parabola, but it's in that middle area where you are just intensely uncomfortable. Does that make sense?
Of course it makes sense.
The problem is that when you become attached to a relationship, you cannot see what otherwise you understand.
That didn't make sense. When I become attached to a relationship, I cannot see what?
You otherwise understand. So you are completely comfortable with the idea that there is no inhalation and there is no exhalation, and that there's something in the middle, which is the parabola. And that if we think about that, the parabola is like the uncertainty of the breath.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
But right now, your mind is calm and clear, so you are able to live in that uncertainty without it torturing you. It's just simple. There's nothing to worry about. There's no inhalation. You're not stressed out about it. It's a parabola. And you say that with utmost conviction, that there is no moment. It's just a range, and you're comfortable with that range.
Yep.
And range is uncertainty, right? It's like kind of the same thing. Like that's what you're saying. Is that you cannot define it. It is like, it's a range.
This doesn't mean it's uncertain, though. It's there. There's the range.
Absolutely. And when we think about her not saying yes or not saying no, there's a range.
That's uncertainty.
That's uncertainty. She could say yes. She could say no.
No, because there is a binary answer at the end. Whereas with the breath, there really is something in between when you inhale and exhale.
Then I encourage you. So I do not think both of those statements can be true. So I'd say zoom into the parabola even further and look for the binary answer. That's the whole point, right? So the point of the exercise is don't find the moment where inhalation becomes exhalation.
Oh. I guess it's a fun thing to help you zoom in on the breath and anchor, right?
Sure.
Is that why we do it? Okay.
We do it for all kinds of reasons. That's one of them.
Right there. Okay. I mean, I can find the center of the parabola, the range that is in the center of the parabola.
So zoom in further.
Then there's another range.
Absolutely. And another range and another range and another range. But you know at some point, like from a very simple like physiologic standpoint, at some point you are not inhaling or inhalation becomes exhalation.
Oh, fuck, you're right. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, yeah. At some point, we're doing the other thing.
Yes.
At some point, like the vacuum turns on or whatever, you know.
Exactly. Right? At some point, you're no longer inhaling and you're exhaling.
I see. You're smart.
So then there must be a transition. And you can detect the range of the transition, but this is why you have to practice this technique.
But we can't find okay, then I counter that we can't find the point, right? Because it's just too small a range of time that we'd have to be able to slow down time to find it.
Exactly.
Which is
so this is where, if we think about it, right? So like if we think about a practiced skill, when I play WoW Battlegrounds, my perception of time is way too fast.
Just imagine you playing a WoW Battleground. Sounds so funny.
I would
watch. I was about to say I need to not stop saying pay, but I would fucking love.
Dude, I used to.
Can you stream playing a WoW Battleground? It'd be so funny, please.
Yeah, sure. Maybe one day. Sure. I've just
I just really want to see. People will want to see it.
I used to play Warlock, and I used to be, on the one hand, really bad, but also on the other hand, at times close to being a top of my server. But,
wow.
But also really bad, like nowhere near like someone who's actually good at Battlegrounds.
I would love to watch.
Oh, no, not top of my server. What's the top rank?
Okay, I mean, what the fuck are you talking about?
There used to be like echelons, right? No, sorry, not Battlegrounds, in Arena.
Arena.
Yeah.
You were Gladiator?
No,
you would know.
No, I was
maybe?
not.
Duelist, the one under?
Yeah, I was like Duelist. And had an
like
option. So I had a clan that was Gladiator that invited me to join because they thought they were good enough to join their PvP team, but I just didn't have the time, so I turned them down. But I think I could have done.
Listen, this didn't have the time thing. That's a cop out. Okay, maybe you didn't.
Fine.
With the amount of time you had, you weren't good enough to do it.
Absolutely, completely agree. And may have never been.
If you had the time, you might have not made it either.
Completely agree.
Okay, so you shouldn't talk like that.
Fair enough.
All right, there we go.
But case in point, so
See, this kind of stuff makes me want to be your friend and not your patient.
Yeah, so okay. We'll get to that in a second, but let's not get distracted. So my perception of time in Battlegrounds is way faster than your perception of time. Sorry, but not Battlegrounds. Let's say PvP Arena. Right?
Okay, so it feels like it's going fast. For me, it feels like it's going so slow. Yeah, I'm just like, oh my god, this game's like, I'm just waiting for this kid to be bored.
Listened to a YouTube video of you playing Battlegrounds, and I was amazed. Arena. Sorry, I was amazed by your ability to describe what is happening and what is going to happen next. It felt like it was slow mo. Like when I go into PvP Arena, it's just like I feel like I'm being dropped from a skyscraper, and then before I know it, like my Fellhound is dead and all of my mana has been drained.
Fellhunter. Yeah, I'll explain. It's because you just get to know all the abilities. Well, you already know this, but you get to know all the abilities of every character and their cooldowns. So you get to know that there's nothing that can happen to me in the next 10 seconds because Rogue doesn't have Kidney Shot and he doesn't have Vanish right now, and I cannot be stunned. I'm just chilling. So I'm not in tension because I know it goes back to the other thing. I just know nothing can happen to me, so I'm chilling. You know, and then but I know all their abilities of all three. And then
so your ability to process who is using what abilities on the enemy team requires a slowing down of time that I don't have. So I can't keep track. In 1 second, you can track 3 abilities from 3 enemies, whereas I can track half of one.
This is what annoyed me, actually. There were add-ons to just do it for you. But in tournaments at the time, you weren't allowed to use add-ons, which I liked because then everyone was on this fair playing field. But there were add-ons that just tracked in the middle of your screen all the abilities the other team used. And I didn't play with any of that. I had 0 add-ons. And then the people were basically cheating in my eyes.
Yeah.
To have it, you know.
So,
because I mean, unless everyone has it on, then you're cheating.
So Reckful, let me just go back to the point. So I think the issue is you're saying that you have to slow down time, and I completely agree, right? So you need to increase your resolution to be able to detect the transition of the breath, the moment when inhalation becomes exhalation.
Okay.
And that comes with practice.
Oh, you can do it.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I like that you took some time with that answer. It made me more comfortable with your certainty. So, I have a question there.
Okay.
So I hear a lot about how meditation will get people into a state of mind. Well, you tell me a lot how it'll get me into a state of mind where I want to be, really. and it'll translate into my day-to-day walking around life, not just while I'm meditating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what makes it so when I meditate and when you meditate, we're doing the same thing? I completely have no. Sometimes I get to the point where I'm not thinking at all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's where you are.
Okay.
How do you go farther than not thinking? How are you getting somewhere farther than I'm
Because
getting?
not thinking is just the first step, right? So that's kind of like, but it's hard to describe because, so like, let's say that it's dark outside and I can't see anything and I turn on a low light. And so when there's a low amount of light, the rods in our eyes activate and are sensitive to low light, whereas the cones are not. So when it's dark outside, the perception of
Actually, I want to
color,
learn this. Okay, yeah.
the perception of color is not there, even though you can see like shapes. So if you think about when it's dark outside, like you don't see the green of trees; they look the same color as the bark, right? Which is like gray or brown. And then as the amount
my dad always sees it all the same color. He's colorblind, but
okay,
I wonder if
so he's probably red-green colorblind, or is he completely colorblind?
So wait. Does it mean that his cones or rods aren't working?
No. So if your dad is color, so cones perceive color and rods perceive black and white.
So his cones of green are not working. I think he sees a tree as one color.
Yeah. So I don't know particularly what's going on with your dad.
Okay.
Usually men are usually red-green colorblind because the gene for color is on, I think, actually one X chromosome. So
what does red? Anyway, what does red green mean? They can't see red and green.
That they can't tell the difference between red and green.
What?
Yeah, I think
no.
So.
He can tell the difference between red and green.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a different one. Okay, I get it.
Okay.
That sounds crazy not be able to tell the difference between red and green. God damn. I guess some people are like that. That's a common one.
Yeah, for men.
Red and green are fucking different.
Yeah,
to us,
they
poor
can't
guys.
perceive it.
I feel
right?
bad. Yeah,
so
I get it.
Let's go back to your question.
Yeah.
Which was how is something possible beyond shutting off the mind? So I would describe. Yes. So I'll use an analogy first, then I'll kind of give you a simple answer. So like if we think about the perception of light, there's complete blindness, and then there's low level light, and qualitatively being able to see or not see shapes is different from qualitatively being able to see colors. As the amount of light in the room increases, you start to differentiate color, where before, between black and white, between darkness and light, all you could see was shapes. You with me?
Between darkness and light, all I could see was shapes. I'm trying to follow you, but I keep thinking about other things, and I'm really not wanting to do that. I really want to focus.
Okay.
So while you were talking, I was thinking about how it'd be nice to get Talbadar in a call on stream sometime. My friend, lead designer on my game. And then I was also thinking about how he would know how to fix my chair so I could be more comfortable. And then, there's construction. And then I'm really having a hard time focusing. And then I was thinking how I have to pee. And I was thinking about how I wish I could overcome all these thoughts and just focus on what you're doing. And then I was thinking about how you can probably do that kind of stuff because you've meditated a lot.
Okay, good. So it's good that you noticed the flow of your thoughts.
Yeah, but you weren't listening at the very end.
Sure I was.
You sure you were?
I think, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just don't, just because you involved me with the last statement doesn't mean I'm going to treat any of the other, that statement is different from any other thoughts, right? Those are the thoughts, they're just random thoughts. Some of them involve me, some of them don't. That's fine.
Yeah. That's not what I was talking about. Yeah, let's keep going.
Okay.
I'm messing us up. Okay, so
okay, that's okay.
How do I stop messing up? I keep messing us up. There's fucking construction, dude. Okay, what do I do? So can you drown out this construction noise, and can you help me meditate through it and just listen to what you're saying?
Yeah, but if you're meditating, you're not listening to what I'm saying, right? Because
meditate now, and then it'll help me learn to focus.
Okay,
I can focus, and then I can listen.
If you want to focus and you want to calm down an active mind, we're going to give you a different technique. Okay, so this is one we've done before. It's alternate nostril breathing. This I think will calm down your mind.
Okay.
So sit up straight. Let me see this symbol. Okay.
I really, dude. I have.
That's okay. You can't be like that. It's not. For the record, for anyone who's confused about not being able to do this, the tendons in your hand are not all individual for finger control. So like there's one tendon that controls like these two fingers, which is why like it's hard to not do. It's just because your fingers aren't actually individually controlled by the tendons.
I'm very sad that this is the farthest I can go.
That's
and
okay.
I tried to push it. I
know.
I get it. The tendon. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really actually complicated. So you have like some tendons that control multiple fingers, then you have smaller tendons that control individual fingers. So it's not like a deficiency. It's just how we're wired. So
Yeah.
sit up straight. So thumb on the right nostril, and breathe in through the left.
Thumb on the right nostril and breathe in through the left. Yeah.
And then switch to the other side, block the other nostril, and breathe out.
I'm blocking it with these two.
Uh-huh.
Fucking motherfucker. Why is that my initial thought? There's somebody, it's his job to do construction on the one above me to make it look nice. And my thought was, this fucking motherfucker. That's not a good thought. That's not, why did I think that?
Yeah, so...
Okay, and we'll keep going. Sorry.
Okay, so Reckful. Okay.
I'm really sucking at I'm really terrible. I'm sorry.
No,
Fuck.
no.
Let me take a piss. Let me take a piss.
Okay, go take a piss.
Tell them about how terrible I am and everything. It's fine.
So I guess the question, chat, because we talked about this last time, is does psilocybin produce the same effect as meditation? And I think my initial answer to that is that I think that you can have similar experiences of consciousness in terms of derealization and depersonalization, but it was my belief that a big difference between psilocybin and the practice of meditation is that meditation also teaches you a practice of being able to focus your mind. And I believe Reckful felt like in states of psilocybin, he was also able to focus his mind, right? That he learned the same thing. So I'm curious about that. I don't know, because I've never tried. And I think that sometimes the mind is distracted, right? So we have to meet people where they are. And if your mind is distracted, that's okay. It's not the end of the world. So, a lot of people are asking or want me to ask Reckful whether he took shrooms today, right? Or people are asking about my opinion. Some people are assuming that he did take shrooms. I want you guys to really stop and think about what the purpose of asking that question is. Like, if the answer to that question was yes, how would you feel about it? What emotions would come up? Because I'm damn sure emotions would come up for you guys. And if the answer was no, what would come up? How would you feel? Does anybody know? Yeah, right? So like, exactly. So notice that within yourself. And ask yourself, why do I stream? What are we here for? And does it matter at all whether Reckful is on psilocybin right now or not for what our goal is? Reckful, we don't have to talk about this. I'm just sharing with you I don't know how much of that conversation you caught.
I heard a little bit. It's on the speakers.
Yeah.
You were asking why they are so curious.
Yep. So
why are they so curious?
I think there's a certain voyeurism to whether you're on shrooms or not. So, like, I think people will feel... People like feeling right.
Okay.
Right? So like, I think, and a lot of times, like, when you have a hypothesis, it's very satisfying to feel right. I just don't think that question is relevant at all to, like, what we're actually doing here. What do you think?
I agree with you. I would, especially now that we've done it on and off. I think there are certain topics that can be explored better on psilocybin, and certain topics can be explored better off. Because maybe I'd actually be uncomfortable or not go deep into a certain topic off of it. But then off, I could also. You'd be better at commenting now that you've seen me both ways. I think it's a little different, but either way, we can accomplish a lot.
Yes. I do not think we will accomplish the same things, but I think we can accomplish a lot. I completely agree. And I think it's important. I know. So like, this is like where, we have to take a step back and ask ourselves, what's more important? Do we want to be entertainers on Twitch, or do we actually want to help people? Because if we want to be entertainers, then we go down the road of asking Reckful whether he's on psilocybin or not, and then we laugh or joke about his ability to be distracted and whatnot. And I don't think that actually serves our purpose at all. Frankly, I don't care. I think everyone should understand that at times your mind is distracted. Whether you were on a substance, whether you were emotionally upset or anything like that, at times your mind does not do the things that you want it to do. So in my mind, there may also be people who are tuning in because they want to see some kind of emotional explosion from Reckful, and they want to see him have an aha moment and stuff like that. And I get that, right? That's good. That's good Twitch. It's like good streaming, and it's fun to watch. But I want everyone to understand that, like, right now, Reckful, I mean, I don't think it's good or bad. It's just at this moment, he is noticing within himself that he is distracted. And who at home does not struggle with the same fucking thing?
Exactly. So I notice I'm getting distracted a lot, and I want to focus, and I know that you would be able to train me into focus better.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's what we're going to focus on.
I'm excited to learn how to focus better.
So let's try one more time, and if not, we'll try a different meditation technique.
Sure, let's do it.
Okay?
Yeah.
So sit up straight, thumb over here. Actually, try this. Can you do this? Link your thumb and your ring finger. Thumb and ring finger.
Yeah.
Not index finger, ring finger.
Thumb and ring finger. Oh, sorry.
There. Yeah, that you can do. Okay, so now
I have a just so you know, because I get uncomfortable about it. I have an actual I'm significantly below average at certain tasks. Maybe like I have an 80 IQ at like shapes, and I don't remember exactly the.
Okay.
There's certain things, certain things I have like 80 IQ with, and like one of them's like shapes and seeing rotations, and like my brain can't do that. So I'm just these things take really long for me. I just want you to know. That's all.
Okay. So let's just talk about that for a second. Do you feel insecure about lacking that capability?
I'm not insecure as long as people know. No, I just don't want people to wonder why it's taking me so long always with these kind of things. I just rather they know, hey, I'm challenged with this.
Okay. So can I tell you how I feel about that?
Yeah.
Okay. So just real quick, I could care less. The important thing is that we meet you where you are, and we get you to where you need to go. If you're impaired, if you're brilliant, if you're we just have to meet you where you are, no judgment, and just get you to where we want you to go.
Yeah.
So we try things and we try things.
I completely agree.
Things. Okay.
I completely agree. Just sometimes people, when I've been streaming for 8 years, I've noticed people are like, how the fuck can he not do this? Like, I can't. And I always feel like I have to explain it, but I don't have to. Yeah. Okay. Let's go.
Okay. So we're going to try a slightly different method. Okay. So this is going to be hard for you to see. So I'm going to do thumb and ring finger. We're going to go like this. Okay. Instead of doing this. Because this can be challenging for some people. Yeah. Good. And so the only other thing is I'm going to raise my hand a little bit. So it's going to be like, you're not going to be able to see my face, but so breathe in. So thumb over here, breathe in. Ring finger to block the other one, breathe out. Breathe in through the same nostril. Switch and out. In. Switch. Out. In. Switch. Out. Good. Now close your eyes. Sit up straight. And continue at your own pace, okay? Keep going. No, keep going. And everyone who's watching should do this too.
Only switch on an exhale? Can I switch whenever? Or should I only switch on an exhale?
Switch after inhale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Switch with a full breath.
Yeah, it's a matter of where we're defining in the beginning.
Good, Reckful, you're learning.
Self-conscious about that sound. Keep going?
You can stop. How do you feel?
Felt good. Good. Really nice. Yeah.
How's your mind?
Calm. I don't know if I can focus better yet, but I know that I'm very calm. Although, I must mention, he shut up for a second. The construction. Can you hear the construction? So he happened to shut up around that time. Shut up is a bad word. Stop. So it helped me be calm, but wait, am I still calm? Okay, if there's construction, I'm calm. I got this.
Okay. By the way, your camera is very dark now.
Yeah, it kept auto adjusting. I need to mess with. I don't want it to auto adjust. But I kept
That's
take it down. Yeah.
No, that's fine. How do you feel?
I feel hopeful that I can learn to overcome distraction from you, and that would be amazing for me because it's a major problem in my life. That's how.
Good. So, I'm wondering, do you feel like you're talking differently than before?
I wouldn't have guessed it, but now that you mention it, I'm probably more calmly talking.
Absolutely. Right? So you were saying 3 or 4 different things that were a little bit disconnected, and you were moving around from place to place. Now, I expect that to return over time, which is okay. So what
Just
would
human.
Yes, that's certainly
sort of
part of it. Yeah.
Okay.
And so help me understand how you would like to spend the remainder of our time today. Let's say like we have another 20 minutes.
What would I like to do?
Yeah. So because we've opened a lot of different threads.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Let's focus on how to focus.
Okay.
But with I want to use an active thought method. Maybe that's not the right way. Well, what do I actively think to tell myself to focus, or do I have to stop thinking?
So focus is not about telling yourself anything. It is about doing something with the attention of your mind. So telling yourself something is thoughts.
I'm really I'm novice at this stuff. I'd love for you to explain it.
So let's just start by if you tell yourself something, that is a thought.
Yes.
Focusing your mind is not about thoughts. It's about directing the thinking machine in a particular direction.
Got it. Okay, so we're the controller here. This is us, and then we think thoughts. Okay, we think thoughts, and then there's a lot of disconnected thoughts happening. We need to learn to direct this, though, to just go in just one direction.
Yes, but it's very good that you're first of all realizing. So, the production of thoughts cannot.
Wait. If we're learning to direct this, I read a book called Mind Hacking. It's about hacking your own mind. And it kept mentioning that there's this, who are we? Are we this thing? Or if we're able to figure out how to direct this thing, then we're something higher. The consciousness.
Okay.
It's interesting to me. We'll talk about it another time. Anyway.
Okay. Good. What did you just do, Reckful?
Trying to direct ourselves back to the conversation.
Very good. And you weren't able to do that about 60 seconds ago, right? It was harder for you. Weren't able. It was harder for you. The amount of time that you spent on a tangent was greater. So how did you do that? Did you have a thought just now? Oh, I need to stop talking about this. No, you didn't. You just stopped talking about it.
Ah.
Do you see that? So that wasn't a thought.
I don't understand it, though.
That's fine.
I see what you're... Yeah.
But you didn't
Do you understand
convince
it?
yourself. You didn't
Would you
convince
say
yourself.
you understand all this?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's the
Yes,
coolest shit I've ever heard in my entire life.
I completely agree.
Okay.
Like, I think it's the coolest shit ever as well.
Yeah.
So I want people this is why I loved going to India. So like I lived my whole life not understanding how the fuck I worked. Like I didn't
still don't.
understand. Like when
I
I
don't get
wake
it.
up one day, why do I skip class? And when I wake up another day, why do I go to class?
Yeah, I want to know.
On some days, why do I why do I go to bed at 10 p.m. like I'm supposed to, like a good student? And other days, why do I stay up till 4 in the morning playing Warcraft 3?
Yes.
And not even just regular Warcraft 3, but Warcraft 3 like custom games, like UMS. Like that's not even real War 3. It's like trashy War 3. For those of you guys even
No, the custom games are fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even I felt like playing like grinding ladder was like actually doing something, right? Like playing custom games is just wasting your fucking time. You know what I mean?
Now that I don't like how you're thinking at all.
Okay. Anyway, I loved it, right? But
no, just grinding ladder, that's a toxic thought process. I think I used to be on that thought process. What grinding ladder means you're doing something, and I'm seeing this number get bigger, but it's all just an abstraction of it. You're playing a game to have fun. If custom games are fun, you should be playing those. If you need the number to be growing to have fun, there's a deeper problem you need to step back from.
I completely agree, but I absolutely had that deeper problem, right?
Okay.
Where my sense of value or self-worth was tied to just like even today, you ask me what rank was I in PvP.
Right.
So that has value.
It's annoying. Yeah. The thing is, I wouldn't have been able to overcome this problem, and I'd still be stuck in the loop of wanting to have a higher rating if I didn't reach the highest rating.
Yep.
Because then there was nowhere else to go. There was a point where Blizzard had to patch the game so I could go higher rated because I hit the cap first. 3,000. You couldn't go higher. And they had to actually make a patch so I could get higher rated.
I completely agree.
I was the only person there. It was cool.
Yeah. And this goes back to your art gallery. Why you quit?
I'm not trying to do it just to brag. I'm trying to say
no.
I'm trying to say that getting there allowed me to step back and realize, I don't need to be on this grind for the higher number forever. I should just play the game to enjoy it. But it's really difficult.
I completely agree.
Because then you don't end up playing as much. If you're not playing for the number to get bigger, you don't end up playing as much, and then you don't end up being as good. And when you're not as good, you can't play with those same teammates who are really fun. Oh, well, my teammates just happen to be good as well. I don't know.
So, Reckful, I'm going to pause for a second and ask you to apply what we're talking about to what you're talking about, okay? So, when you came to this... I'm trying to figure out how to say this without... You understood this first in terms of why the grind is futile and not a good investment of your time. And then you understood the logic of it later, right?
Yeah.
You came to a realization and then afterward the logic got into place. But essentially the realization...
You're right.
Okay. So now we get to this issue of how do we direct attention, because it doesn't come from the mind. So you realize something without actually using your active thought process.
If you're saying it doesn't come from the mind, what do we define where it comes from as just a word so we can have a go-to word?
Consciousness. Simplest word.
Consciousness? Okay, so consciousness is the director of the mind and...
Yes.
And what?
Mind. So, I mean, there are different pieces, but I think generally speaking, the mind. So the consciousness is the controller of the mind.
Consciousness is the controller of the mind, but we can be conscious without mind when we meditate, is what,
yes.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. So when we're conscious without mind... Oh, the consciousness never directs anything other than the mind, though. So just as it directs the one thing, and that thing can sometimes be off with the other thing being on.
Yeah, I mean, so you could say that the consciousness can also direct the body, because our body functions without mental thought, right? So
there's the consciousness directs the body and the mind.
I've never really thought about it like that, but I think
I like thinking about it like this. Is very cool.
Right, so we have consciousness, which is our... Actually, consciousness doesn't really... in its truest sense, consciousness actually does not direct anything. All it is consciousness is our capacity for awareness.
Consciousness is our capacity for awareness.
Consciousness is where
this sounds intelligent as fuck, but I have to understand what it means. Hold on. Consciousness is our capacity for awareness.
So Reckful, I want
Okay,
you to.
I'm starting to get it. I kind of a little bit get it. I don't
Okay,
fully get it.
so I want you to rub your beard and just close your eyes and rub your beard for a second and just feel the sensation. Now, your noticing of the sensation, is that a thought?
I didn't think anything.
But you're still experiencing something, right? So that is consciousness. There's no thinking. There's no analysis can come after. So you can have thoughts about it, like, oh man, like this feels rough or this feels soft. All of those analytical thoughts are of the mind, but the actual noticing thing is only the consciousness.
Now, here's a part where I'm not sure you're right.
Okay.
I keep mentioning on my stream all the time, but it goes back to the split brain experiment again. It goes back to the split brain experiment. I could be noticing things without thinking them. You'll see with the split brain patients, they'll like try to pick out their article of clothing they want to wear for the day, and then the other hand will knock it out and will pick something else. It's really, it's
Yeah.
insane. Yeah. Then it could just be that other side of the brain, though, that is what is noticing that I'm. The right side of the brain could be noticing that I'm rubbing my beard. It doesn't think in thoughts, though.
But now, so there's a difference between brain and mind and consciousness, right? So, consciousness.
So we're abstracting past the brain. We're not thinking about the brain.
No, because consciousness and mind are words that we use to describe the experience of what goes on in our head, right? It has nothing to do with. So I have no doubt that there is a part of
I'm
brain.
trying to learn. I'm trying to keep up. Sorry, it's really hard.
So there's absolutely a part of brain that consciousness comes from. And there's absolutely a part of thoughts that consciousness comes from.
Okay.
Right? We know that because when you meditate...
We don't know where. Yeah, we can't figure out what the fuck does consciousness come from. That's the hard problem, right? It's called the hard problem.
Well, sort of. But like, I mean, we know that if you take EEG electrodes and plug them up to your brain, and as you enter a state of meditation, that state is distinct from the state of mental activity, which is distinct from the state of sleep, which is distinct from the state of dreaming, right? So we know that these are all have physical representations.
States? Those are the 4 states? That's it?
I mean,
dreaming, meditation, dreaming, meditation, sleeping, and what the normal one, what is it?
Consciousness, thinking.
Consciousness, okay. Thinking is better, not consciousness.
So consciousness without thought is one. So let's just think about this. You can have your consciousness active, and you can have your mind active, or you can have them inactive.
I thought it again. I thought this fucking motherfucker, but it's not. He's not a bad person. Why do I keep thinking that?
What are you talking about? The construction guy?
There's a guy fucking doing construction above my head. Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason. And
he's
so
not a bad person at all.
So
I don't know why I keep saying that.
Reckful, right now, your mind is something that we call stimulus bound, which is that generally speaking, your mind has the capacity to filter out stimuli that are not relevant to what you're doing. And as you become more stimulus bound, your capacity, your brain's ability to filter out stimuli.
It does it better when it's regular and not irregular, though.
Completely agree. So part of being stimulus bound is attenuating a stimulus. So if you walk into a room, you'll notice that people are talking, and if you're in that room and there's background chatter, your brain will acclimatize to that stimulus and you'll stop noticing it. Right? That's normal. That's actually how meditation works, by the way. So what you do with meditation
is... What do you mean by that?
Okay,
you're about to explain.
Yeah. So as you put your attention on just one thing, so you can't empty your mind. What you can do is force your mind or try to direct your mind to just notice one thing. And you can use one thought or one sensation to push out everything else. And then over time, your mind acclimatizes to that last thought, and then that goes away, and then you're left with an empty mind.
Got it.
Does that make sense? So as we use the breath to knock out all of the other thoughts, and if we do the practice long enough, eventually we'll even lose track of the breath in the same way that you acclimatize to other things, and then you're left with nothing but consciousness.
So getting back to the original question then, how, when you're meditating, do you go further than just not thinking? What is the next step?
The best way I can describe it, or what's used, is higher levels of consciousness, right? So consciousness is not one thing. They're different in the same way that mind has different states, right? So it has anxiety, fear, excitement, a high level of activity, a slow level of activity, like sitting back, like enjoying things, being stressed out. The mind has a lot of different fluctuations, and consciousness in that way has different levels of fluctuations. I mean, I wouldn't call them fluctuations. I think they're more tiered than just like lateral fluctuations, but there are different states of consciousness.
So, okay, I would think this is complete mumbo jumbo, except that I've actually experienced a higher state of consciousness, and so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So anyone who hasn't experienced this, so this goes back to logic and knowledge, right? So you had this realization about the wow ladder and the grind and stuff like that, and then that realization can't come from the mind. It actually comes from somewhere else, and then your mind understands it afterward. If you think about the breath practice, and sorry if I'm bouncing around too much, but in the breath practice, you noticed something about the breath, and then you recruited your mind to be able to explain it and come up with the word parabola.
Yes.
Does that make sense? So that is consciousness directing the mind to be like, hey, I want you to tell me what this is, or let's think about this. Like, let's understand what we already know.
Yo, bros, we got to figure this out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you already have the answer.
Do I?
Yeah, because it's not the product of logic. Right? You figure it out first, and then your logical mind understands it afterward.
You don't figure it out first. You feel like you're close to figuring it out. You know the conclusion, and then you want the mind to clarify to make it solid.
Very good, because figuring it out, that verb is more mental activity. But like you said, you start with the conclusion, which like is actually kind of mind blowing.
I fucking love talking to you. By the way, it's so cool. Okay, sorry.
That's okay. I appreciate the compliment.
It's just so for you. Here's a big disconnect, I think, for people on Twitch and you. See, you've probably been talking to people similar to you for a long time because you went to a good school, and you're talking to colleagues, or do you call them colleagues?
I don't know
peers,
who you're referring to.
Peers. You're talking to peers at a good school all the time. Now with gamers,
I went to UT Austin, which is like a pretty good school, but it's also like, so.
Oh, you went here?
Yeah.
Okay, but regardless, I dropped out of high school, right?
Okay.
So the only people I'm talking to are all sitting at home playing games, which is fine, but fuck, what am I trying to say?
Sounds like you're making a comparison of some kind of why I am the way I am.
All of us gamers sitting on here on Twitch, we haven't gotten to experience conversations like the ones you have regularly, I think.
Okay.
And then it's really nice as soon as I'm in it, I'm just, wow, like I'm stimulated. My mind is stimulated. I'm learning, and you're making it fun to learn for me. And usually it wasn't fun.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way. I would also be, to be honest, Reckful, I think some of the most profound and awesome conversations that I've had are with gamers who are going nowhere in life. Like, I don't think you need to be at a top tier institution. I firmly believe this. Like, part of the reason that I stream on Twitch, it's funny. So I talk more about what I truly believe on Twitch than I do at HMS. Because I think that people here are more open-minded, willing to listen, and able to learn than people in a top-tier academic institution.
Do you think you've learned anything from us Twitch people?
Tons.
Really?
Every single day, man.
Cool. You're learning something from me?
Absolutely.
You're not just saying that?
No.
Okay.
So, Reckful, think about this for a second.
Yeah. I mean, something useful other than how to use the technology.
So, Reckful, let's pause for a second. How am I able to do what I am doing? What makes me good at this?
You can relate.
Okay, what does that mean? Like, how does one...
a lot. That's not really what it is, though. I don't fucking know why you're good. I just know you are.
Yeah, it's because you're teaching me in this moment.
I don't believe that. Maybe I have low self-esteem or something.
No. You do. Maybe you have low self-esteem, but understand. So like this is me getting XP for all of the other conversations. Every response you give me helps me understand like a future conversation in a slightly different way. Every person that I talk to helps me understand the condition of humanity a little bit more.
I think if I weren't me, I could believe you.
Yeah. Then we got to get to the issue of like why you can't believe that about yourself, right? Why do you need validation? Why do you talked about, right? So where despite all of your amazing successes and being Reckful Gladiator and doing this and doing that and Everland and all the other stuff that you've done successfully, why is it that you cannot value
What is
yourself?
Reckful Gladiator?
That's the video that I saw that was like
okay.
2010 or whatever. 2006.
It's fucking old. Yeah, it's 2000.
Yeah.
9 maybe. They got taken down from YouTube.
Yeah, I remember.
Whatever.
So despite all of these things, despite Blizzard having to patch the game so that you could continue to grow, why is it that you can't believe this about yourself? Why is it that you
I believe I'm good. I was good at that game.
Why do you not have inherent value in yourself as a person?
I would love to know that.
How long have you felt that way?
My whole life.
I don't think
as far
so.
as I can remember. As long as I can remember. As long as I can remember.
Do you feel like you don't feel like you're good enough?
It's not like I'm going in for a test that I need to be good enough for it. It's just that I don't feel my value being added to situations. I feel like if I were dead, it'd be the same. Just one guy, 7 billion people, maybe almost 8 now. Who knows?
I think we're sitting at 7.5. I'm just gonna I'm gonna think for a second, okay?
I'll take a piss. I need more water too. I know what happened here, but I didn't understand it right away. I was drinking almond milk yesterday. Didn't clean this cup, and I drank water out of it, and there's some gross looking shit in here. I was debating whether I show you guys, but probably nobody wants to see. I'll just go clean the cup and drink more water.
Okay. Existential crisis that I'm having or he's having? No, this isn't an existential crisis. Quite the opposite. This is just the final boss of what I'm here to do. That's all. So sometimes when you're facing a final boss, you have to take a step back and think about what your strategy is, right? That's what's going on. I'm leveling up, right? So sometimes you gotta pause. I'm activating Super Saiyan mode. It's hard. It's hard when sometimes Reckful makes it easy on me, and sometimes he makes it hard on me. So that doesn't matter though, right? Like, because in life you have to deal with what life gives you, not complain about what life is giving you. Okay. I think I'm good. Two boomers streaming. Absolutely. Boomer Central. What are we going to do, chat? Let me what's that thing in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Like ask the audience. So what do you guys think? Why is Reckful sure that he doesn't have value and that he's insignificant in this world? Yeah, so when you guys say something like low self-esteem, that's not a reason, that's a synonym. Right? Like, I mean, so not enough meditation is also something that's not the reason why, that's a solution, potentially, but it doesn't help us understand, like, this is an issue of diagnosis, not of treatment. So possible, right? So the easy answer is that this goes back to abandonment and him losing his brother. Like, that's something that, us as psychiatrists and therapists love to come back to, is defaulting to the answer of, oh, that's the cause of all of his problems. But I think defaulting to his brother, is actually, like, intellectually lazy and possibly doing him a disservice. So arrogance deep inside, it's not the arrogance that's deep inside. So understand this, when you have low self-esteem, arrogance isn't deep inside. Arrogance is on the outside, and the low self-esteem is on the inside. That's what narcissism is, right? A belief that other people should treat you like you're the best in the world, and a belief in yourself that you're the worst in the world. That's narcissism. Arrogance is on the outside. Low self-esteem is on the inside. So he's not deeply arrogant. I don't think so. I don't know what that... If anyone's deeply arrogant, it's me. Because you're not going to see it. So bullied. Right? Open Reckful's chat. Okay. Let's open Reckful's chat.
Hey. Sorry it took so long. I decided to look for my noise canceling headphones.
Okay.
So I could just not deal with the construction. But then I was thinking about whether it's better to try to deal with the construction. You know what I'm saying? Like, to try to get used to it and overcome that I'm hearing it.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think you should
for a
use,
while.
I think you should use noise canceling headphones. I think you should be where you are, and don't confuse where you are with where you want to go, because those are very different things. And it takes time to get to where you want to go.
Don't confuse where I am with where I want to go. Oh, I see. You're right.
Right? So one day, in theory, you would be able to do this without noise canceling headphones. We don't know how bad the construction is. But you shouldn't blame yourself for wanting to use it. I think it's smart. Reckful, do you know why everyone in your chat is talking about cock?
Wait, everybody in my chat is talking about cock?
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't even know what that means, but anyway.
Wait, what's chat? Can you guys... What happened today? Are you guys okay? Cock. Cock.
Anyway, let's...
No, but I'm just... What you just did, they're so happy that this happened. Because now that you noticed that they were spamming cock. That was the goal. That's why they were doing it.
Okay.
They got you.
It'll be the first, not the first time, and not the last. I'm just a sad boomer trying to understand Twitch, and I think I've discovered. I think I've finally decoded Pog. By the way,
I can't believe how many times you stuttered trying to say that. That was really funny. I think I'm fun up.
Absolutely.
All right.
So pog is just something that you add randomly to the end of other things, right?
Randomly?
Yeah.
I'm insulted.
It's like so now I would say insulted pog. Doesn't that work?
Yes, but that's not random. It doesn't work. You
It's
could
just-
do it. You could.
So then I could say it's not random pog. That works too, right?
Yeah, but okay, the thing is,
Do you know what being me on Twitch feels like?
no.
It feels
I
like
really
being
don't.
an AI trying to pass the Turing test.
That's funny.
It's like I'm
So
trying to show you.
if you guys don't know, the Turing test is something to tell if an AI, if something passes the Turing test, an AI passes the Turing test, it means you can't tell it wasn't a human.
So I'm trying really hard to not be a boomer, and I think I can mimic it, but I really don't understand it because at the end of the day, I'm not human and I'm just an AI. So then I would say just an AI
So-
pog.
They always think I'm the one on psilocybin. That sentence was crazy.
Right?
All
So
right, yeah.
Anyway, so let's go. Let's try to actually help you a little bit. So
Uh-huh.
you have this belief that you don't have value.
I had value right now teaching you about Twitch. It's a little bit, right? A little bit.
Sure.
But I don't usually feel like I have much value. I wonder if it'll change as I do bigger things. But it's not, doesn't seem to be. So like I've done a lot of things in my life now, especially now. Still isn't changing that I don't feel like I have value.
Okay.
The only reason when I'm sad, I no longer consider like jumping off the edge is because I think when I'm sad, is I think about other people who would be affected.
Okay. I'm glad that's keeping you going. And I want to actually this is going to be in a sense maybe way harder, but in a sense
But
you made it
to
easy
those
for me.
people, to those people, I'm adding value.
Yes, but let's forget about all that for a second. I was going to say something that I think was a little bit more complicated and harder to digest. But I will say this. So there is a difference between having value and feeling like you have value.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right? So do you have value or do you feel like you lack value?
I know logically that I have value, but I
Okay.
don't feel it.
Okay. There are times when you feel it, right?
Once in a while, someone will say, "Man, you really like." I'll get these long emails actually, like, "Man, you really." Been getting a lot recently. Just telling me I changed their life in a good way,
Mm-hmm.
and then while I'm reading it, I'll feel value. But then, if I got a bunch of them that day and they kind of blended together, then on the fifth one I read, I wouldn't feel value.
Okay, so now,
Which-
fine. So I want you to just notice that your sense of value is determined based upon your feelings.
Is dependent on my feelings. My sense of value is dependent on my feelings?
Yes. Because you're telling me that when you read something,
I think it's dependent on other people's feelings.
well, that's true as well, but other people, so I don't think it's dependent on other people's feelings precisely. So if we understand how the mind works, other people's behaviors make you feel a certain way.
Other people's behaviors make me feel a certain way, and if they're giving me positive feedback a lot, then I'm having a sense of self-worth.
Yep. But the feeling is on your end. It's actually not their feeling, it's your feeling.
Okay, feeling was the wrong word for it.
Right? So I first of all, I want you to stop and think for a moment about whether one should base what they know on their feelings.
Whether one should base what they know on their feelings, no. They should not.
Okay. So that's the first thing, right? So there are different sources of knowledge. There's something that I'm going to call intuition or realization or consciousness or experience. Like that's one bucket of knowledge. That's called jnana. So the Sanskrit word is jnana. Gnyan. Okay?
The what word? Sanskrit?
Sanskrit, yeah. So, for example,
Sanskrit.
Reckful.
Can you spell that so I just remember it?
Sanskrit. Sanskrit.
Yeah, Sanskrit. Okay, I've seen that word.
Yeah. So, do you know what a strawberry tastes like?
Yeah.
What does it taste like?
Couldn't tell you in words, but I know what it is.
Exactly. That's nyan. Right? So, when we're thinking about whether grinding to get to gladiator rank is important or not important, you had a realization one day where you understood a bunch of stuff. You understood something core.
N-Y-A-N?
G-N-Y-A-N.
G-N-Y-A-N.
It's a...
Nyan.
Yeah, there's like a weird
Nyan.
sound.
G-N.
No, it has a nut that doesn't exist in the English language.
We're all typing it in chat now.
Or J-N-Y-A-N is the other way that it gets translated.
J-N-Y-A-N. Nyan.
Yeah.
I like the G.
Okay. So...
Nyan.
Yes.
Nyan.
It's like nyan nyan. Like
Nyan,
the
nyan.
Weibo nyan
Okay.
nyan. But, so... one source of knowledge is nyan. Right? So that's like experience, realization, and sometimes your mind catches up. Your thoughts catch up. Once you figure something out, like you know that you figured it out, it takes some time for your mind to catch up and be able to explain it or fully understand it. Or like break it down into pieces that the logical mind can understand. Another source of knowledge is vidya. So vidya, V-I-D-Y-A, is information, is objective, and is transmissible. So
it's information, it's objective, and it's transmissible.
yes. Right? So
what does that mean?
in a textbook is full of vidya. You can read a textbook from cover to cover and never understand something.
Yeah.
Right? You can memorize without understanding. Yeah, just shitty vidyas in there, right?
Yeah.
And so the person who has jnana can write a textbook. So you can have E equals MC squared and understand what that means, and then you can write an entire textbook. Does that make sense?
I can have E equals MC squared and understand what that means, and I can write an entire textbook. Does that make sense? No.
It does not. Okay. So like, we have physics textbooks, and physics textbooks are designed through doing vidya over and over again as you do problems and equations and stuff. At some point, hopefully you get a light bulb when you're studying something, and then you get it. It clicks.
That makes
And
sense.
once it clicks, you no longer need the textbook. In fact, if a student is struggling to understand it, you can go to them and you can explain to them in a way that's better than the textbook, right?
Yes.
So
Okay.
Nyan is about like understanding the core thing. Like you can explain this concept of chasing
I love
after...
Nyan, actually. Nyan is the best.
Nyan is completely the best. Completely agree. Our
The thing
society...
yeah, I always feel like someone asked me, what does that taste like? Like what you did with the strawberry. And my ex-girlfriend was so good at describing what something tastes like, and it was so frustrating because she would want me to describe in words what it tasted like. I'm like, I don't fucking know. I know what it tastes like, dude, but I can't tell you. Like,
Yeah.
I can't tell. Yeah.
So now what we need to do... So there's
I
vidya,
need to-
there's...
I want to transfer a neon to someone else.
You can't.
I know, that'd be sick.
So remember how
That's
I
some good
said
technology.
vidya
How do you do
is
that?
objective, transmissible, and information.
I don't like that you said you can't. I'll figure it out. 50 years from now, I'll make a technology. You'll be
Okay.
like, okay, you had
Okay,
it.
fine. So
Get
Nyan
that
is subjective, not transmissible, although if you want to develop a technology, go for it.
Stop
And
interrupting Reckful. Dude, you guys are so mad. People are thinking I'm so rude. I interrupt all the time. It's just how I talk. Should I not do it? Wait, let's hear his opinion. What's your opinion?
I think we should try to finish the conversation instead of talking about whether to interrupt or not.
That's funny.
Okay.
Yeah, but after. Okay, go ahead.
So like we could say interruption pog. Right?
No.
You can't say interrupt pog?
No, we could actually say it, and now it'll be funny, but we couldn't have said it before, but now we can. God damn
I'm
it.
telling you. The boomer within me is masquerading as whatever it is that Twitch chat is. And I'm pretending and I'm hoping that no one notices.
Okay.
No one notices Pog. You just take a random ass thing and you
Not
just
random.
had Pog at the end.
It's not random. The ones you're picking are actually good. You can't say like, I mean, you could. As soon as I say it, it'll be funny. You can't say like clock from Santorini, Pog.
But wouldn't
For no
that be
reason.
a great
But
Pog?
you could.
Yes.
You could.
That's a great Pog. Clock from Santorini Pog is the best Pog. If something is going to become a meme from this show, it is Clock from Santorini Pog. Right?
Maybe he's right that you can actually take anything. Maybe I was thinking too deep, like specifics.
You weren't thinking deep enough, my friend. You're not thinking deep enough.
Yeah.
You're too shallow, baby. You got to go deeper to the essence of Pog. Have Nyan of Pog, Reckful.
No. Oh, wait, when you say deep, here's the question. When you say deep, sometimes I mean deep into the specifics. And then there's a high level version of thinking and there's specifics. But there's depth to the specifics. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and there's depth to the big picture.
There's depth in both, right?
Yeah. Anyway, so let's go back to, or maybe this is just we can just call this aborted fetus what it is, but
no, Nyan.
Yeah, let's go.
Nyan.
So when it comes to you don't have Nyan, a value of yourself. So no amount of convincing will work and has worked.
Okay, that hurt. But it was true.
Right? So what we need to do for you is give you Nyan a value of yourself. Because once you have Nyan a value of yourself, no one can convince you otherwise.
I looked over at the chat and they're just putting a Pog on everything, dude. That hurt, Pog. True Pog. God damn it. He's right. Okay, anyway. I'm getting distracted. I'm closing the chat. You guys are having too much fun, okay? Okay, I closed it. So I don't have the feeling when I eat a strawberry and I can tell you what it tastes like. I can't tell you what it tastes like, but I know. Nyan, I know it.
Yep.
I can remember the taste right now. I don't have a memory of value for myself in my head. Is what you're teaching.
Not
me.
Memory, a realization.
Not a memory.
Of value.
A Nyan. Yeah, a Nyan.
So to get this thing out root and stem, you must have
I don't believe that I will ever have it.
Of course not. I mean, of course you would believe you would never have it because you've never had it, right? It's like, it's not as simple. Like, it's hard to understand or believe that you will ever know what a strawberry tastes like.
I don't have taste buds.
So there's another piece of this. So the first is that we can cultivate a practice for you where you develop a sense of self outside of mind and hopefully have a realization of your true self. That's something we can do. The second thing that we can do is understand if you've had some kind of experience or Nyan or some scar of being valueless.
Wait. Other people feel a value of themselves. What does it feel like?
The same way, what does strawberry taste like?
You just know that you have a value.
Yeah. So, and this is complicated, but close your eyes.
It's kind of painful to think that I don't have this thing. You really have a thing? You can feel a value of yourself? You could just taste it?
Yeah.
Analogy.
Yeah.
I don't have it.
Here's the thing. It doesn't taste what people think it tastes like. That's what I would say. Right? So people build up this image of what it feels like. But I absolutely have Nyan of my value. And the thing is, it's not really value. Value isn't even the right word. But like value is like the closest thing in the mind. So I want you to close your eyes.
I'm not ready. Okay, I'm ready.
What were you feeling, Reckful?
I don't know. I was feeling sad that I don't have any value to myself.
That is something you should be sad about.
Yeah.
And
I'll close my eyes now and do the thing.
That's okay. Let's just talk for a second if that's okay with you. It's hard for me to just let that slide unless you really want me to.
Let's let it slide for now.
Okay. So close your eyes. I want you to find the moment where inhalation becomes exhalation. And I want you to try for 9 breaths and make them as slow as possible. Good. Notice the feelings as they arise and return your attention to the breath. There's a tsunami of sadness inside you, and I want you to breathe and notice that in-between space. You don't have to push the tsunami away. You can let it come and just breathe. Find that moment between inhalation and exhalation. Find the parabola. Be patient with yourself. If you have feelings, let yourself feel them. And then return to the breath. Push nothing away. Let it wash over you. Let the feelings arise. There you go. Now you're doing it. Right? So continue to find the parabola and zoom in a little bit more. Slow down time for yourself. Reckful, what I'm seeing is someone who is sitting in a place where they're meditating and looking for their breath, and all around them, volcanoes are erupting, earthquakes are happening, lightning is striking, and tsunamis are happening. Feel all of those things and find the breath. It's okay. Give yourself some time. Feel them. Find the breath. Good. Eruptions will come. Let them come. It's okay. We're here. Twitch chat is with you. I'm with you.
Twitch chat is with me.
You see?
Fucking spamming Pog or something.
They are with you, though. They are with you.
So.
You are not alone. So return to the breath. A ray of sunshine. Cockpog.
Cockpog.
Now return to the breath.
I'm just gonna mention it's very hard not to get distracted by Harvard fucking PhD psychiatrist saying cockpog. It's pretty funny.
Return to the good. Find the parabola.
Did you say cockpog again?
Sure.
Okay, later.
Listen to the sound of my voice. Close your eyes. Close your eyes.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm so distracted. Okay.
You gotta close your eyes and listen. Cockpog. Cockpog.
So usually, in between the emote and the phrase, you would put a little cock pog. You know, there's like a
rooster.
Pause.
Like that's what we're talking about, right? A rooster.
No, there's a bit of a pause to let it be known that.
Don't think about what I'm saying. Listen.
Cock pog.
Okay.
Not cock pog, because cock pog could be one word. It's not a cock pog. It's a cock pog.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Return. Good. Now return to the breath.
Gotcha.
Beautiful. So notice the parabola, right? There's the inhalation and the exhalation. The inhalation and the exhalation.
You really like that I used the word parabola, or are you just using it over and over for fun?
I think it's a very good way of describing with vidya jnana. That means you understand it. That means you have jnana of it. Right.
Dude, jnana is the coolest feeling.
Focus, Reckful. Eyes closed. Don't reflect on jnana. Just focus on the parabola.
Okay.
And in the middle of the parabola, zoom in now. This is your 3 more breaths. In the middle of the parabola, ask yourself if the person that is noticing the parabola, does that person have value?
My instant answer was no.
2 more breaths.
Okay. I think
Now open your eyes.
one more. I think it's hard as someone who's attempted suicide to find value in yourself.
What did you feel?
There's
Don't
a
presume
reason.
an answer. Tell me what you felt.
I didn't feel anything.
So this is going to sound kind of weird. Did you find value in yourself? Yes or no?
No.
Do
I
you
stopped feeling
do you-
things. I was feeling things. It was erupting, like you said, and then I stopped feeling anything.
and you were unable to find value in yourself, correct?
Hmm.
Is that a problem?
You're telling me it is, and I.
No.
sounds
I'm
like
not.
it is.
What? How does it feel in that moment to be unable to find value? Is that a problem? In that moment, did you feel distressed?
No. I was okay.
How is that possible? How can you be okay when you look within yourself and you do not find value?
Because I'm just conscious and not thinking. So if I'm thinking, it's not okay. But if I'm not thinking, well, there's nothing to worry about then.
Yes. It doesn't mean that you're worthless. It doesn't mean that suicide is a good idea. It doesn't mean that you won't hurt people. But at its core, what you are feeling transcends the concept of value or lack of value. It is just what is.
Consciousness.
Pure and simple. There are eruptions all around you, and there is a person who is meditating on a rock. And you can find that person, and you cannot find value, because value in and of itself is of the mind.
True.
And you can be peaceful in the absence of value.
Mm-hmm.
Train yourself to be peaceful in that place, and whether you feel value or you don't feel value, underneath you will be tranquil. You don't need value. Because value is a feeling. It comes and it goes. It is not jnana. What you just experienced is just a fraction of jnana. Practice this every single fucking day. Get good at it. And you will be a changed person. Find a place of tranquility and stability amidst everything that is erupting around you, and you can fucking find it.
So let's say I'm alone. Okay, most of my daytimes, I really enjoy the day. I wake up.
Good.
And it's nice outside, and I go for a walk. And I've been
Good.
I've been taking little pictures and videos, and you know how I like photography, and just loving
Good.
life. Okay, and then I come back from my walk, and I just work on Everland for a while, and I love that too. And all the people I talk to, I love them all. Then nighttime rolls around, and then people stopped working on the game, which is reasonable. Then I try to transition into a different. I mean, I have to transition into enjoying something else that's not walking outside in the sunshine, which I like, or working on Everland, which I like. And then I don't have anything to do when it's nighttime, so I'll reach out to a lot of people to hang out with me, and I'm really overbearing about it. I'm just like, please hang out with me. Like, I'm so fucking bored. Like, I was messaging Greek, my friend. Just like, please fucking hang out with me, please. And he's like, I'm really busy. Like, tomorrow I have to do something. I have to do this. I'm sorry. Like, I really love you, but I can't right now, you know? And that's reasonable what he's saying, but I'm just like so desperate to hang out. I just want something to do at nighttime. And it's scary to be there, and I'd love to be able to go into my own world like this and be okay with being alone. I don't know that I could achieve it,
Well, I beg to differ because you say like this, right?
Yeah, but
you
I'm
can't use
doing
that.
it with guidance. Yeah.
Yeah, but the point is that you're doing it. You're
Yes,
not
but
saying you used
I don't
to say.
believe in myself. I don't believe in myself to be able to do
Fine,
it alone.
forget it. Forget about all that. The one thing that I want you to point out is before you were talking about hypothetical. You were saying, I wish I could find a place like that. I wish I could have what you have, and it's sad to not have it. You're saying, I wish I could be like that. I wish I could have that. And now you were saying, like this.
True. It's a good step.
Very important step. In fact, it is the only step.
Oh, I'm getting somewhere.
You're getting everywhere, Reckful.
Wait, I'm
This,
making
you're
progress.
already there. Do you understand what the word this means? This means right in front of you. It means not far away.
That's true.
You have just felt it. You need to cultivate within yourself the capacity to get to the state over and over and over again. That takes practice.
Yes, it's hard for me to get myself to sit down and just breathe when I'm feeling overwhelming loneliness. It's just like my brain is just throwing all these thoughts. They're so strong. There's just so many. It's just telling me like, why are you alone? And why does no one want to hang out with you?
All thoughts, not consciousness. Not consciousness. Right? So train yourself to be in consciousness. Practically go to a yoga class. Do you do yoga?
No, but there's actually a yoga class immediately next to me.
So go to a yoga class. And if you want to,
I want to go with someone. I don't want to go by myself. I need to
Okay.
have a friend who want to go.
Okay, so start going
first.
with a friend, but at some point you got to start going by yourself.
I can't do it yet.
Okay, that's okay. So you'll get there. Right? You'll get there. And be patient.
This was a good talk today.
Yeah.
I know it's not over yet necessarily, but
No, I think we're at a good stopping point.
Yeah, I made some good progress, and I feel like I need to relax.
Be patient with yourself. Be forgiving of yourself. Be compassionate of yourself. And remember that within you...
I really hope people watching benefited also.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Just remember...
Makes me feel cool that... That's such a shitty thought, but it makes me feel cool that I'm benefiting someone else. It's not a shitty thought. It's not a shitty thought. It's fine.
Yep. I think what you're maybe feeling sad about is that that's the way that you can't see value for yourself in order for you to like make this worthwhile. Like it has to help other people, which on the one hand is noble, but so I just want you to have this, like, just sear this image in your mind, Reckful, of you sitting among, because you were there, man. Like, I don't know if you know this, but you were there. Volcanoes, lightning, tsunamis, earthquakes, cockpog, all around you.
Cock-pog.
Right? There's the funny thoughts
God damn it.
and the devastating thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Right? All of them are there. And the breath can be found between all of it. It doesn't matter. Cockpog is bad and earthquakes are bad.
No. Can't have any more cockpog. So you wouldn't say meditation pog. Breath pog. Right? Breath. Pog. Oh, breath is good. Meditation. Pog. Right? Not meditation pog. So we need cock. Pog.
Can we get someone to just clip him saying, we need cock, and then the pause after, and just stop the clip right there? I'd love to
I stop it here, actually. This is where you stop it. All right. It was a good session. I hope everyone had fun watching. And Dr. K, I love you.
I love you too, man.
And I'll see you guys next time.
All right, strong work today.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.